That is Miss Erica Campbell with A Little More Jesus. I love Erica. She's great. Erica is really talented. Have you guys followed all the things that she's doing? She's a radio host. She has her own hairline. I think I'm going to get one of her wigs. I'm thinking about it. But her own hairline, TV, we know Mary's season ended last week. Their own reality show. She's a first lady. She's a music artist, a songwriter. Maybe she's going to start cooking, you know? You never know. But that was Miss Erica Campbell with A Little More Jesus. And I'm excited. Guess what? We're going to be interviewing her here in a minute. I'm excited about it. Erica has so much wisdom and information, and I hope you all are excited. And do you know that she has a new single out, and it's called Well Done? If you don't know, go download it, listen to it, download it, do both. Check it out on iTunes, wherever you can find it, and download Erica's new single, Well Done. And if you don't have her other project, Help and Help 2.0, check out these projects. And right now, we're going to go right into Erica Campbell and her new single, Well Done. And following that, I'm going to be speaking with Miss Campbell herself on the Artist Stage radio show. You don't want to miss it. Don't log off. Don't tune off Facebook or anything else. You want to stay tuned for this great interview with Erica Campbell. But right now, let's go right to Well Done.
Oh, I want to see him, look upon his face. Let us sing forever of his saving grace. On the streets of glory, let me lift my voice. Cares all past, hold me last, ever to rejoice. I want to hear him say, well done. One time, one time. One time, one time. One time, one time. One time, one time. Ooh, just I want to hear him say, well done. One time, one time. One time, one time. One time, one time. One time, one time. All I want to do is hear you say it one time. Write my name in the book, call me one time. That's all I really need, just one time. I can't wait till I see you one time. You gave me my gift, gon' have it back. You fill me with love, so I give it back to you. You gave me my husband, you know I love him, and now I'll give him back, so you know I'm all in. Lord, take my children, my family. I want you to know that you have me. I need to know that you're happy. Yeah, when I finally start breathing, I wanna hear you say, well done. One time, one time. One time, one time. One time, one time. One time, one time. Oh, just I wanna hear you say, well done. One time, one time. One time, one time. One time, one time. One time, one time. All I wanna do is hear you say it one time. Write my name in the book, call me one time. That's all I really need, just one time. I can't wait till I see you one time. I wanna wake up in my heavenly home. All my people bow down to the king on the throne. Hold up, wait a minute. Gold streets, gold mansions. Just because I look gone with a passion. Can't get you in the gates, but if you're asking, he'll give you that life. Can you imagine living without all his grace? Sometimes I still get amazed. Yeah. Praise you for all of my days until I finally stop breathing. Yeah. One time, one time. One time, one time. One time, one time. Oh, I wanna hear him say, well done. One time, one time. One time, one time. One time, one time. One time, one time. Yeah. Don't you know?
Welcome back, everyone, to the Artist Stage Radio Show, and you were just hearing Well Done by Erica Campbell. And I'm very excited because we have with us on the show Grammy, Dove, Stellar, and so much more award-winning artist, singer, songwriter, radio host, the list goes on, Miss Erica Campbell. Welcome to the Artist Stage Radio Show, Erica.
Thank you. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. We're here and we're alive. So, Erica, this is the Artist Stage Radio Show. And on this show, of course, we play great music. But I also give tips to artists. I give updates, music industry information to those who, maybe already operating in the music industry or maybe on the fence of whether they're not too sure if they want to be a part. And also to help those who are in it to stay, to keep going and to be motivated. Yeah. And I know, Erica, you've been doing this since a little while, since the late 90s. I know it was with your sister Tina.
99.
But around 99. Now, there are also some people who are listening who also would like to be signed to a record company. Mm-hmm. And you were signed to Columbia Records around that time, 1999. Were there anything or some things that you found out after being signed to a record label, some things about a record company that you wish you would have known prior to being signed?
Let's see. The record business was very, very different. They were giving big budgets, and you had to recoup everything. But those big budgets also allowed you to be in a lot of places at once. So you would get big kind of quick. And if you didn't understand that you were paying for everything, you can kind of fall into that. That's how you have a lot of artists who ended up going bankrupt, or a lot of artists who just say they don't want to do it anymore, even though their music was great. The reason you don't see people in the industry is not always because they didn't have good music. Sometimes they didn't understand, and sometimes they just couldn't take the pressure of being an artist, the budget, the managers and their commissions, and making sure that especially if you're a believer, make sure your spiritually based music was reflected in the life that you live. And if you're not aware of that, it can be challenging. You start off singing in church and you just want to sing about Jesus, and you don't understand, publishing and flight, permissions, and, what it's necessary to do, and how you have to kind of go beyond yourself. And you will be tired, and you will be frustrated, and you have to sing anyway, and you have to perform anyway. It's just a lot that people don't understand. I love that I've learned and grown, and I am more than willing to share as much of that information as I possibly can.
So would you say that in 2017 that would you suggest for new artists to, I don't know, if maybe hire or take on a financial coach or advisor even before they record their first record or song?
I don't think you have to hire anybody, but definitely do your research. Definitely start looking up publishing. Definitely start looking up splits for songwriters. Look up how much money people get from each album sold. Just because your album sells for $12 or $14, or even if it's $9.99 just because it's online, sometimes people are still getting $1 per record. Depending on the deal that you make, you don't automatically get that money because the label has to get their money back. Every picture you see, every trip you take, every time you go somewhere, somebody has to pay for that. And most of the time, it's the artist. Like somebody asked me one time, how much money do you make for going to the Grammys? I said, you mean how much did it cost? First of all, the tickets alone are $600. Then you have to buy a dress. Then you got to get your hair done. Then you don't want to drive up there in your own car and park it, so you have to have a car service. On the red carpet, you need a publicist because it's hard to navigate those red carpets. Even at the Stellars, it's very expensive. So you just need to be aware, is this what I really want? Do I really want to do this? God, are you really calling me to do this? Or am I just envious of somebody else that I see?
Oh, wow. Now, that's a point that you just made. That's a huge
some
point.
People are like, I can sing better than them. Or, they stood up longer for me. They clapped longer for me. It's a lot of that out there, unfortunately. And those artists, they get handed a real ticket real fast. What real life really is, what it really means. It real is life. Not just about singing to an audience and keeping them on their feet. There's more to it than that.
Exactly. So you just made a point about people seeing others and possibly getting envious, and the times we're in now are totally different from 1999. as far as how you connect with consumers and supporters and fans. What would you say were a few differences in reference to how you present your music now versus then to supporters and fans?
Now you don't present your music, you present your life.
Wow.
They want to know where you live, what you buy. They want to know what you eat and what you do. They want to know about your kids and your relationship. They want to know about everything, and they judge you based on that. And if you're not prepared for that, it can take you down. If you're kind of a private person, if you're like, I just want to sing, I really don't want to do all the other stuff, it can really take you down. But you have to learn that even the Word talks about your life being an open book. Do they have to come and sit at your table with you? No, but how you live your life, how you operate at a grocery store or an airport, you can't cuss people out at TSA. You need to be Christ-like at all times. And so it makes you sometimes a little more accountable. Back in the day, people would live then foul, and only time you saw them was on stage. You didn't know what they did in hotels and when they traveled and when they were gone. And people would tour for longer times. They'd be gone for months at a time. Nowadays, people don't do that as much because touring is so different. Now they're just at everybody's churches. Well, what you do on your way to the stage, even in that church, kind of goes further than your music does. So you have to make sure that you are really living a life that represents Christ.
I love everything you're saying, because on this show we talk about things that happen before the stage, on the stage, and off the stage. And you just hit on all three stages, because this is so true. And also, I mentioned at the top of the interview that you wear quite a few hats. Of course, we know you're a music artist, you're a singer, songwriter, radio show host. You have your own hairline. You're a mother, your wife, and also your husband and I. You not me. Your husband, you and your husband have California Worship Center. You're a first lady, a pastor's wife, and you're juggling quite a few things. And I know there are quite a few artists listening who they may not wear those same hats, but they may have business ventures that they're juggling along with being a music artist. What would you say is important when it comes to managing those different hats and ventures?
Keeping your heart, your mind, your spirit in the right place. I remember hearing Bishop Jakes talking about multiple streams of income. When God created us and he placed us in the garden, he didn't just make sure that the trees were fed by one river. It was 4 different rivers that led into the Garden of Eden that fed the animals and the trees, which was their livelihood. Back in the day, that's how they made revenue. Well, now for us, if we do one thing and expect for everything to come from that one source, sometimes it's challenging, it's stressful, it's overwhelming, and sometimes you're putting more pressure on the work than what it can handle. Most creative people who sing, you also write, you also speak, you also do different things, and you have to prepare yourself. Well, God prepares you. Life prepares you for when it is time to go into those things. I haven't always done all this stuff. This is all new in the last 2-3 years in my life, but for the most part, I was just singing, and I think God would see if I was responsible with that, how I treated that, if I respected that. Can I trust her if I open up the doors? If I put her in the room of people that don't love me, would she turn on me? Would I sell out my salvation to get a larger crowd? And so as you grow and you overcome your trials and you pass your test, God continues to open doors for you. And I believe that's what he's done. And so I feel honored. And I know God wouldn't give me a blessing to destroy me with that blessing. So whether it's writing books or having a radio show or having a career or a church, my husband or my children, I believe God will give me the grace and the wisdom and the time and the money and the provision and everything that I need to handle my assignment. So I don't do this through my own strength. I do it all through the grace of God and the wisdom of the Holy Spirit guiding me every step of the way. That tells me when to stop, when to say no, and when to move forward.
Right. So, and lastly, so would you say that it's important to set strong foundations early in your career before the stage, or when these things come along later, because you said he's seeing if he can trust you, would you say that's very important in the beginning stage to lay good foundation?
You have to work on your relationship with God more than your music.
Okay.
You never put the music above your faith. Your time with God, learning the Word, the Scriptures, making sure that you have it rooted and grounded, because the life will choke it out of you. Life will try to choke the word. I mean, the word says that. If it's not rooted and planted in your heart, life will try to choke the word out of you. And so you have to be very secure in your faith. You have to pray. You have to spend time with God. And it shows when you're on stage and you're just using your gift as opposed to the anointing working through you. It shows. I've been on stage at times and been like, oh, that was terrible. Because I knew that I wasn't spending enough time with God. I'm telling you from experience, personal experience. So busy in the travel and what I'm wearing and what are we singing and the moves and who goes on before us and the cartwhere's the hotel, all that kind of stuff, and never going, Lord, what do you want me to say to your people? If you don't make sure that you're focused on God, the enemy will tear you up. So your relationship with God must come first.
And I hope that the listeners heard a statement you said. You said, never put your music above your faith or before your faith. That is huge. And I hope, like I said, everyone listening wrote that down, because that is a great tip along with everything that Erica just said. And Erica, I thank you for being on the show. I thank you for all of your wisdom and information. And hopefully it's been a help to those that are listening to the Artist Stage radio show. And I appreciate you for being who you are. All of who you are.
God bless you. It is my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, and hopefully you have a blessed rest of the year.
Absolutely. Make sure you follow me at I'm Erica Campbell on all the social platforms. God bless you.
God bless you, and don't forget to pick up her new single, Well Done, on all online retailers. Download it today. Erica Campbell. Thank you, Erica. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Erica, for the great interview. I'm excited. I hope you all heard everything that she said. Did you hear when she said, make sure to not put the music before your worship? That we can't do that. We have to make sure that our heart is right. The scripture we had at the top of the show talked about, search me, oh God, know my heart. Try me and see anything that's anxious in me that's not like you, God, that offends you, God, so that you can get it out of me. So I don't put the music above my faith and above my worship, so that I can be led along the path of everlasting life. Thank you, Erica Campbell, for all of your tips. And we know that Erica, she's extremely busy. So hit her up on Instagram, Facebook, and everything else. Check out the things that she has going on. And early in the show, we dealt with Build Before You Brand, musical entrepreneurs. We talked about don't just become accountable. Also, before the show, find out how to properly communicate with sound engineers. So during your sound checks and your performances, that everything can flow smoothly. And we kind of hit on the before the stage and on the stage with that one. But for off the stage, Erica talked about not being envious of other artists and some things like that. Let's make sure we're supporting other artists through either attending their concerts, buying their music, just giving them words of encouragement. That doesn't always have to be on Facebook or Instagram. You know the person, personally text them. Encourage other artists. It's not always about you and your music. It's not about just you. Encourage other artists, because you all are in this thing together and you're going to need each other. Trust me, you're going to need each other when times may get rough, and you may need that person to lean on or for somebody else to support you. So support other people. That's the off the stage tip for today. Support other artists. I'm Tracy on the Artist Stage radio show. We heard Erica Campbell.